Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the NFL football recap. We will talk a little bit about Michigan football. Obviously, a lot of things happened over the weekend. Very exciting on my part. Cautiously optimistic. If you are watching or listening to the show, please do us a favor. Subscribe. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. But subscribing helps our show so much. It doesn't hurt you at all. And it just keeps you up to date on everything that's going on with Bussin' With The Boys. This show, Bussin' With The Boys, is presented by the one, the only FanDuel Sportsbook. And I got 4 words for you guys. It's not over yet. We've got a whole week of regular season football to get through, plus a few weeks of postseason play. And of course, we're capping off week 17 with tonight's Rams versus Falcons game. One thing we want to let you guys know about, if you haven't seen it already, FanDuel's Drive same game parlay. Picture this. I want you to close your eyes unless you're on the road right now. We're gonna envision all of it. You see my hand going down over my face. That's what we're envisioning. Picture this. You see the Rams. They have a little bit of momentum, right? Stafford, he's slinking it. Puka Nacua, he catches everything. You think to yourself, hey, I got a thought. There's no way they don't score a touchdown on this drive. You crack open the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you can cook up a parlay that breaks down the drive exactly as you see it. Because why? We're manifesting right now. We're manifesting. Stafford's passing yards, Puka's receiving yards, and the Rams to score. And FanDuel's giving all customers a live profit boost token. By the way, you can stop. You can open your eyes now. I apologize. FanDuel's giving all customers live profit boost token to use on the game so you can boost the payout and make the winnings even bigger. Just head to FanDuel.com/Bussin' to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Hey, Michigan's got a football coach. We got a ball coach, huh? Got ourselves a ball coach. Kyle Whittingham, 21 seasons at Utah, over 3 decades at Utah. Honestly, spent most of his life in Utah. He played football at BYU, did a little bit over there, was under Urban Meyer, and then took the head coaching job when Urban Meyer, I believe, went to Florida, correct? Am I correct in saying that? Yep. So, a lot of success there. Comes over, hat in hand, does his press conference. He has one statement that just absolutely fires me up. Really, did you watch the press conference, the Michigan press conference? I didn't think you would, but it's okay because I'm going to tell you everything you need to hear.
Go back and check it out.
Yeah. He says, you will become us. We will not become you. And that's referring to the culture of Michigan. He said all the right things, in my opinion. And then you start to break down, what's this man about to bring? Because you really start to realize that Kyle Whittingham, what he is, he's a boss. He's a CEO type of individual that is going to be the name, the face, the culture of your franchise. But he's going to allow the coaches who he brings in with great hires to coach these guys, and then game management, culture, attitude, toughness, the whole thing comes from winning. I believe he's worked out for more than like 6,000 days in a row or something like that. He's got some weird stat in that way. But start to read a couple of things. Jason Beck, the OC at Utah, that's his front runner for who's going to be his OC at Michigan, scored 41.5 points per game last year. They were the number 2 offense in all of college football, the number 5 rush defense. And those 2 stats might be flipped. It might be 2 for rushing, 5 in total. So that gets you pretty fired up. You watch Utah's offense. I've watched like 4 games over the weekend just to rewatch the play calling, all those things. Very creative, very exciting. They love to run the ball, but they're very creative in their pass game as well, which is awesome for a quarterback that I pray to God stays at Michigan. Then they got this DC. Who's going to be the DC? Jay Hill. Who's Jay Hill? That's the DC for BYU. You're probably wondering what
spicy defense.
How are we going to have a BYU whose sworn enemy is Utah? How is the DC from BYU going to go with a guy from Utah to Michigan? Jay Hill at Weber State went over to Utah for a few years and apparently has a great relationship with Kyle Whittingham. So all that to be said, boys, cautiously optimistic. If we could just keep this roster intact, which is a big if, right? And I think it starts at the top with that quarterback. He stays. I think the rest of them stay. We go spend a buttload of money. We get to middle of January, I might be calling for a national championship. I might, but right now I'm cautiously optimistic right now because the more I read on this cat, the more I'm like, we got a leader of men with integrity. You know what I'm saying? Greggy, can you hear me?
Greggy's here. One quick note to selfishly insert Baylor in here. Utah beat Baylor by completing their first pass of the game with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, put up 57 on us. They didn't have to throw the ball. They're big uglies.
Tough outing for Baylor
that
day.
Yeah. Baylor being Baylor. But I'm very excited for Michigan. I think Whittingham's going to be a great fit. And I think all the talent that he'll be able to bring in with the Michigan M, as well as just like all the prowess and all of his experience, be dangerous.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
You go over Twitter, you go in the search bar, you type in Michigan football, you see a lot of opinions being made. You see some USC fan bases that are like, oh shit, Kyle Whittingham is now in the Big Ten. Like Utah was owning the Pac-12 for a couple of years, and they figured out USC and Oregon and Washington, all these big schools. And USC was kind of happy to get away from Kyle Whittingham, allegedly. I will also say this, Utah fans, maybe the nicest group of people.
Great group.
They've been incredible, but I've been watching like the banter.
The culture.
I've been in the back.
I've
been in the shadows a little bit, just kind of watching. And it seems like Utah fans and Michigan fans, like at first wanted to do this, but then they realized, like, hey, I think we're okay here. I think we're really, hey, Utah fans are really happy for Michigan fans. Michigan fans are very like, now we're like fans of Utah for some reason. So it seems like we got some harmony taking place between Utah and the University of Michigan. Greg, do you care to comment?
I just can't escape all you Michigan guys. I had to do Portnoy this morning and listen to him talk about how the Block M is how you just get to select what coach you want and you have your pick of the litter. And I guess he forgot that literally if this guy didn't just leave Utah because he didn't want to be part of that private equity recruiting, who would be the coach?
No, you're right. Listen,
he's a great coach. I'm not debating all
no
that.
doubt. We're talking about Dave Portnoy, the attitude.
I can't escape you Michigan guys, but I will say it was not looking good when it all went down. And there was a lot of questions of who you were going to get. And there was rumors about Kalen DeBoer and Dillingham and all these guys. And then they're renewing and taking themselves off the board. And I don't think it could have worked considering how bad the situation was. I don't think it could have worked out any better for Michigan to get him.
I agree with that. And let me just say, Dave and his attitude about Michigan, I can understand that attitude. I kind of had it a little bit. These last couple of years, I've realized I need to fall back a little bit and just be a true fan of Michigan and just hope for the best. Because this whole blue chip organization, which they are, top 5 program, which they are, but the Michigan man, all the things, the arrogance that kind of comes with it. We've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, you've changed it up over this.
It's time to settle in and just realize, like, other than 21 to 23, since when I got there, it's not been great. Like 09 to now, it's not been like, oh, this is the greatest program in the entire world. We need to get back to that. And I think Kyle Whittingham is the guy that gets us back to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right. I mean, I don't know a ton about him. Obviously, I know how good he was and how successful he was at Utah. Any idea why he was at Utah so long? Like, why didn't he go to?
I was curious about that too. Because he did.
Why wasn't he going to Alabama? Why
Right.
wasn't he going to Michigan years ago? Like,
Right.
And again, he could have just been super loyal. And again, I don't know a ton about him.
Yeah, my understanding is
he's won a million games.
Yeah, winning 10, 11 games and having that kind of culture at Utah
is not easy.
It's not easy. I think Michigan did find somebody.
No, I think it's a home run. And I think from a stabilizing factor, you can just hear it when he talks. You can hear it when he commands the room. I think for everything, both football and non-football going on at Michigan over the last couple of years, I think he checks a lot of boxes besides just, hey, he's won a lot of games in the past. I do think he's going to bring a leadership and a presence to the program that they need right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I know that there was a lot of transition taking place as far as conferences go. Like when he got in, they were the Mountain West and they go to the Pac-12. And so there was a lot of changing taking place. But I know at one point he was offered the Florida job. He was offered a multitude of other jobs. When Rich Rodriguez was like the hot new name at West Virginia back when I was in high school and ended up taking the Michigan job, I know people were kind of clamoring for Kyle Whittingham as well. And then when Rich Rod left, if it wasn't when Brady Hoke was the next coach, Kyle Whittingham's kind of name kind of did come up. And then when Brady Hoke left, it seemed like it was Harbaugh or bust. And even when Harbaugh left, I believe Whittingham was a name that also came up again, but they clearly hired internally with Sherrod Moore, which ended up not being the move.
Yeah.
Ended up not being the move there.
I feel like it's as they change the chapter, turn the page and everything else, like say Whittingham is going to have success at Michigan. I feel like it'll be in the spots where you even the years where you won the Natty or those times where all that staff and everything was together and how everything went down. I feel like it's just going to be weird to look back and want to prop those years up if you're Michigan.
It'll be interesting to see how like that
That's just my
evolves
own. That's
over
just my
time.
own observation. Listening to Winningham come in and just seeing some of the tweets that were written about him, because he does seem like a good head football.
I saw a Notre Dame alum kind of got on and was like, "This is what you're getting with Winningham: integrity, character. You're never gonna have a scandal. This is a guy that does it the right way." It's clearly the attitude and the care, like the man we need at the helm after these past kind of 3-4 years of like, you know, the brand kind of getting hurt from Michigan, myself being like, hey, listen, I understand that. I'm understanding why people dislike Michigan so much. Now there's a piece of me that loves people hating Michigan.
I think it'll continue to be that way because of fans like Dave.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Because I'm watching Dave, I'm smiling and laughing at his tweets, and also like, God, I hate this dude when he talks the way he goes about Michigan.
Dave does go a crazy way about Michigan. I love it, but I'm a realist enough to be like, yeah, in 20 years from now, I'll look back and be like, yeah, we won the national championship in 23. I'll be very proud of that. I think we had one of the best rosters ever, but you can't really ignore all the things that were also taking place. Now, as far as the allegations of cheating, I'll fight that to the end. It seems like the NCAA bent the knee on that with just a fine. Let me ask you this, Greg. Let's get off of Michigan for a second. Your school play against the Ohio State. I think it's like 10.5-point dogs right now. There's something.
Miami's getting whooped by Ohio State.
That I agree.
Miami's getting
agree. But I want to know, I mean, Homer, I want to hear what you have to say about Carson Beck, them running the ball, it being 3-0 at the end of half, or 3-0 at the end of half against A&M.
Look at him smiling.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it.
That is not going to cut it.
That offensive output is not going to cut it. As you guys know, I am a fan of the forward pass. I do think the forward pass is a big asset if you're trying to score some points. Obviously, I'm biased. Obviously, I'm a huge Miami guy. This is a Miami house. My wife and I, like our whole family, is Miami people. Mario Cristobal is one of my favorite people in the world. He's a friend. He coached me, recruited me. I met Mario. He was a GA at Miami. So my rising sophomore year, the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, my dad brought me. I had an older brother. I still have an older brother. My older brother was being recruited. So we went down, and Butch Davis was the coach. Mario Cristobal was the offensive GA and like assistant tight ends coach. So I was 15 years old. Met him down there, developed a relationship. He then went with Schiano to Rutgers. I'm from Jersey. They recruited the shit out of New Jersey when they were at Rutgers. So I've known Mario. He came back my last 2 years and coached with me. So my point saying this is we go way back. I love him. He was the guy for the job. I always said if he couldn't bring Miami back, nobody could. So like we are riding with Miami always. Weirdly speaking, my second favorite team, if they're not playing Miami, I do cheer for Ohio State. I've gotten to know Ryan Day really well and become friendly with him and have spent some time up at Ohio State the last couple off seasons. So we're riding with Miami. If they weren't playing Ohio State, we'd ride with Ohio State, but we are Miami through and through. Could they do it? Yes. They're going to have to play much better on offense, especially in the passing game.
So it's a win-win for Greg.
The Olsen household doesn't care about the outcome of this game.
The Olsen household
we
might.
Want Miami to win.
Olsen household might, but I know Greg internally.
No, we want Miami to win.
It sounds like you.
But if you lose, you're going to be happy for Coach Day.
No, I want to see. I have yearned for. So my junior and senior year in high school, Miami played in back-to-back national championships. So like my whole recruiting process, my whole kind of going through that whole world was like Miami was the program.
This is early 2000s, right?
Yeah. So this was like 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Like
I forget
the
he's
seasons
old.
might have been 2000, 2001 or whatever the years of the national title. So my junior year, we beat Nebraska. And then my senior year, we lost in overtime to Ohio State. And I ended up going to Notre Dame with my older brother, but then transferred shortly thereafter to Miami. So like we are Miami people, met my wife there. My brother and sister-in-law went there. My younger brother went there. Like we are Miami people. So we are riding with them, but
you yearn for those moments.
Yeah, I want to see Miami back on top again, right? We've been saying the U is back for 15 years.
Yep.
It'd be nice to actually be able to say it and have it be true.
I'm with you too, because anytime like a documentary comes out or anything about Miami, something about the full white, like the white face mask, the orange and green. Like I remember my first like game on PlayStation was one of those years when Miami's coming off a national championship. And the first game that I played was a Miami-Florida State game where you could see the glare off the helmet for the first time in a video game. And you thought it was the most realistic thing you'd ever seen in your life. So I'm with you. There's that fantasy of the Miami logo and everything coming back. I just don't think that they'll have enough to take down Ohio State.
Especially because Ohio State's coming
That's
off.
why they play the game, boys.
That's why they play the game, baby.
Why they play the game.
Coming
I
off.
had this argument with my kid. You brought up the white helmets. The other day we were getting ready to watch the A&M game, and my oldest son, he's like, man, I hope they go all black and the black helmets. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, the Miami white helmet, especially when we went all white helmet, white cleats, white top, like that is just an iconic helmet.
The Miami white helmet with the running back face mask. The little
like
2-bar on the side.
All those legendary Miami games, those national title games, those Hall of Fame players.
Yeah.
They all had the white helmet with the U on the side. Like that was the helmet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I still got mine right here. Hold on.
Yeah, show it off, man. With the dark visor.
Boy's
too.
got 2 Emmys in the back, but he can't display his helmet.
What'd you ask, Mitch?
Hey, that is the one,
The
too.
running back 3-bar.
Will, you want to see this guy lined up over the top of you on 3rd and 7 when you know you got me man coverage and I'm just
You're just gonna do. You're gonna do something on the sticks. You're probably gonna try and lean into my body, stand me inside, go up,
a little thick in here,
and hook it up around the sticks.
Look at that you.
Boys, a lot of scuff on this.
A lot of scuff.
Yeah.
A lot of scuff. How's this side look? I can't see.
Not so bad. Not as scuffed.
I'm a
as the
left
other
side hitter.
Yeah. It's a helmet that's seen, several
Hey,
C gaps.
Can I show you the best part of this? Do you remember when our helmets looked like that on the inside?
Dude, that's
How did we all not die?
no doubt.
I think we slowly are. They're just, science got to continue to come
Yeah,
out.
but that's all
helmet.
human beings. That's all human beings. We're fine. We're gonna be
I got
okay.
my high school helmet. I really don't know how we didn't die.
Yeah, bro. How hard it is on the inside.
Yeah, and you really got like if it got cold out and you'd put it on, it's like I need 15 minutes. Sometimes I would just leave my helmet on for the entirety of the practice and do the water ball. I wouldn't take it off just so it would
Boys.
fit better.
That running back 3-bar
ready
that
for
he
this
has
helmet?
on the Miami helmet.
That is that extra 2 inches at the bottom of the face mask is
Look
wild.
at all them decals.
What'd you get the decals for?
All the stickers.
Killing people.
Those are just bodies.
His dad was the head coach, so he probably made up a bunch of stickers for him.
Yeah, look
That
at
is brutal. You had the blue lining.
Boys,
I love our
You
show.
see it?
I love our show right now. Just showing off the old helmets, boys.
Yeah.
Check.
Okay.
Look
Just
at
think-
these.
What made me wear that face mask?
Yeah, look at all these scratches.
Hey, most of the scratches on the crown
The
of the
face
helmet
mask
too.
went down to here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a brutal face mask, bro.
That's
The one in Miami was the one, especially
Dude,
as a
my
backer.
freshman
If you
year-
got that 3-bar one,
My first year playing at Miami, my redshirt freshman year, I wore that face mask. I have pictures of myself playing in college with the 2-bar Dion, but down to here. So bad.
got to protect my neck. Got to
What-
protect my throat.
How much did the players kill you for that before you were like, all right, I got to change this face mask?
No, I think at the time, I think we all thought it was cool. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude.
I really look back and I'm like, questionable decisions.
No doubt. And you see, like, even like in the 90s, like the giant shoulder pads and the cowboy collar. Like when my junior year of high school, I had the butterfly collar in
So
the
did
back. I had no neck issues. I just wanted to look bigger. I was just trying to get after it. I wanted
Nobody
people to
had
be
neck
intimidated.
issues back then.
No, none.
Dude, my shoulder pads in high school were this big.
Yeah.
It was about the
And
height
my
of your
arms
pads.
were like super skinny, sticking out the bottom. And back then, I don't know about you guys, but when I played, like later in my high school, but like early on, our sleeves were like loose,
Yeah.
So we would twist them and then tape them, and then you like rolled the tape up to make them tight. That was
Hell
before they
yeah.
had like elastic.
Yeah.
So we had like these, I still have skinny arms, but like these little skinny bitch arms sticking out the bottom of these huge shoulder pads.
Looking like straws coming out of a box.
No
So
doubt.
good.
It is the funniest look in the world to just see giant
It's the
shoulder
best,
pads and
dude.
little sticks coming out of there.
I mean, think about you think of an image of a Miami player. It's like Ray Lewis when he had those massive pads. The jersey was like up to above his belly button.
Yeah.
Massive helmet on.
I never got into the crop. That was never my body type.
I was
Same.
always, I was
wanted
always,
to, but I
same.
never could.
I would always look
Yeah.
at some of my other offensive lineman brethren when they would go crop top, and I'm like, the confidence on these guys to just let that thing hang out.
Yeah,
I wish I was
I
that
didn't-
secure in my body at the time, because
Yeah,
I think the crop top look goes hard.
Yeah, if you look like some of those guys.
I think with the big boys doing it too, I don't mind. I'm like, hey,
The
fuck
big,
yeah,
the
dude.
big boys.
Yeah,
do
so
it.
I
It's
was
funny.
like in the middle, right? Like I wasn't like so big that you just like lean into it. It's like that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But then obviously I wasn't like washboard abs. So I was kind of like dad bod, skinny
yeah,
fat
yeah.
kind of guy.
same, bro. Once the compression shorts got on me and it squeezed the muffin top a little bit to where it
dude.
seemed like it was oozing out like an ice cream cone. Like we're guys that seen like, oh, they got some athletic ability or an athletic build, but if you get seen with that hanging over, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
you're not leaning into
He's
anything.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Dude, I would spend, even in the league, like I would get my compression like shorts and I would put my feet in it with the waistband and I would pull it just to try to combat that. The exact thing you're talking about. where it's
Sometimes I
like,
would put my compressions over my muscles.
hey,
And I'm like,
same,
fuck, I can't get
same.
caught. I can't get caught. Dude.
You were like you were
I thought
wearing
he was gonna leave
Spanx
me.
or you were wearing
Yeah.
Spanx.
Kind of a few
Bro.
practices, and then I'm just like, I can't get caught doing this, man. The boys are gonna clown my ass,
Dude, but in a game though, you put it up
Yeah.
a little higher so it does just the jersey when it squeezes in, like
Yeah.
it might just form fit you all the way down.
Yeah,
Because catching that angle, dude,
Yeah.
you get caught in that angle. It's a tough go.
Especially like in December, maybe in like August training camp, you're like,
Yep.
I'm pretty good. Like
Yeah, yep.
if you like, I would see pictures of myself in August right before training camp, and I was like,
yeah, that's a
all right,
good looking.
that's
boy.
pretty good.
Yeah.
December, you're just like eating pizza, holding on for dear life.
Cookies, pie,
Oh.
holiday food.
You're already thinking about this off season. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z.
Oh,
I'm gonna
this
be the most
offseason,
jacked
I'm
dude
gonna
ever.
get back in great
Right.
shape. It's the divisional round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Dude. No, it's before Christmas. You're just like, I'm
You're
gonna
like,
do
dude.
it. I'm gonna get it done. We're talking every white guy that plays football.
course.
Because you
And
come
if it
in.
wasn't you, you're lying.
Yeah, you have this regimen about you where you're like, this is me the entire year. I'm not going to waver on this. And then week 4 hits and you're like, fuck it, dude, pizza. Had a bad game, pizza, sushi,
It's
Chinese
the
food with the
comfort.
boy on Mondays.
Yeah, there's a mental comfort to all of that.
God bless.
You're trying to hit some New Year's
Well, anyway,
resolutions
that
toward
was
the end of the year.
that reminiscing just made my day. So what else you guys got?
Dude, let's talk about our tweets
Dude, my
last
tweet,
night.
dude, I land, check Twitter,
Yeah.
my mentions, I'm getting killed. And I finally scroll up to the source of it all, and both of you separately tweet me. Will sends me about momentum. You're asking me about going for two tail. I was sitting on the plane taxiing, dying laughing.
And you know what's crazy too is it's literally coming down. I'm like, this is the perfect scenario for us to talk about tomorrow. And I'm thinking the Bills are going to get this. They should go for 2. I hope McDermott does go for 2. And then obviously what happened. If they just would have kicked the PAT after the first touchdown, it would have been a moot point. But after the game, all of them are kind of discussing, should you have gone for 2? Should you not have? And everybody who was like, yes, you should have gone for 2, all brought up momentum as their key point.
Of course, because they don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Because analytics can't measure momentum. And by the way,
No, but
the
if
tweet
the
I had
Bills
for
would have
Greg,
had more momentum after the back-to-back touchdown drives,
No doubt.
if they would have only gotten more momentum, they would have made the 2 point.
And they
but
had
if
it
they
too.
kick the extra point,
It would have gotten blocked again.
well, analytically, you sit back and you look at like here's where And by the way, I'm with you on the going for 2. I was just grinning ear to ear, knowing that this game was going to come down to, I wonder if the Bills are going to go for 2. I had my tweet ready to go and I just held on it. I'm like, I got to make sure the Bills don't get the 2-point conversion for this to work.
Now you're learning.
Yeah.
Now you're learning. You have to make sure your criticism comes after you know the result.
Yes.
Right.
Very
Exactly.
smart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I
very
shoot that out there. But I'm also thinking in my head, like, okay, here's a good analytical question as well. Like if you're self-scouting yourself, because you're right. The one touchdown before that, extra point gets blocked. So it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to go for 2 because the extra point got blocked. But we're also going to go for 2 because that's what our game plan, our strategy was going to be anyways, try to win in regulation. But my question would be, when do also analytics within your own season come into play? because yeah, they got their extra point blocked, but what's their percentage on making an extra point to go into OT versus you are before this failed 2-point conversion, you're 1 for 6 at going for 2 throughout this year as the Buffalo Bills. So they missed this one. They're now 1 for 7 on going for 2. So analytically, in general, universally, it's like, hey, everything screams go for 2. But if you're the Bills, you haven't been successful at all. Really, you've been successful 1 time out of 6 up until that point of going for 2. And then you look at if you look at the example last week, which it's like, why didn't the Bears go for 2? They end up kicking the extra point, going to overtime and winning OT. Bills, it felt like they did, bringing up the word momentum, had all the momentum because Philadelphia had 12 yards passing in the second half?
I think they had 12 yards total.
12 yards total in the second half. Like Philly wasn't doing anything offensively. And they were up 13-0 going into that fourth quarter. And Josh Allen. Buffalo was becoming Buffalo. Their offense was becoming that offense. So why not kick that extra point going OT? Like in my head, knowing like confidence level wise, like, bro, we're taking over this team because they're not moving the ball at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, your confidence was so high. Your momentum was very high. You had just scored back-to-back touchdowns. Why did the defense was reeling, the defense was tired. I've heard all these things for the whole year. Then it's even more reason. If that's the mentality, then it's even more reason to say, keep my offense on the field. They couldn't stop us. Put the offense back on the field and let's win the game with my hobbled quarterback who's banged up his foot. Do I want to play a whole overtime period? And they talk about, well, just make the extra point and go to overtime. Badgley was 20 of 25 on the year on extra points.
But again, 1 for 6 on 2-point conversion. So I'm also asking, like,
you want to take
looking at your own?
Who are you going to bet that's going to go above their odds? Badgley, your third kicker of the year, or Josh Allen?
Your third kicker of the year.
Okay, well that's
for an extra point.
I would go.
Are you arguing just to argue? Like
I am arguing just to argue because I do want to know, like, at what point are you self-scouting enough to be like, all right, I get that you're rolling the dice going this direction with going for 2, but again, you have failed to convert 2-point conversion. 5 out of the 6 times that you've already done it. Now 6 out of the 7.
Yeah. And that's a valid argument. And obviously that's something that each team has to take into consideration as they look at their own 2-point plays, their play calls, their strategy. So that's certainly a fair and valid argument. I think where the argument universally, I'm not saying your argument, I'm just saying the universal argument on all of this is everyone just assumes you make the extra point, and I just watched you miss an extra point.
Yeah.
So, like, there's always this assumption that if you go for 2, you're going to miss. And it's so stupid. All you had to do was line up in the driving rain and just make a simple extra point that, oh, yeah, on your first touchdown, I watched get blocked. So, like, there's this assumption that what happened on the previous 2-point play matters, but what happened on the previous point after try is somehow irrelevant. I ask you this question. The night before, Texans, Chargers. Dicker the kicker has had an amazing season.
Amazing.
So they are down 10. They go down and they score. The Chargers are down 10. They go down and score a touchdown. So we're watching this game at our hotel in Indy because that game was a big factor in how meaningful our game was yesterday.
Yeah.
The Colts needed the Chargers to come back and win for the Colts to still be playing for something against Jacksonville yesterday. So selfishly, we're like, we'd love this game to mean something to Indy. So we're watching intently. I say all of that. Long story short, they score a touchdown. So now it's a 4-point game. Okay.
How much time's left?
That's a good question.
Is it like under?
It's minutes to go in the third.
Okay. That's good enough.
Okay.
Hold on.
He's got to know.
He's got now.
Greg. He's a detailed-oriented guy.
Well, it matters. It's a great question.
Will
like
goes,
that right
Will
there.
Goes, it's enough, and you're like, no, it's not enough.
That's a conversation right there with my wife. Like, sweetheart, that's all I need to know. I need to know exactly.
3:37.
Okay, all right.
So lots of time. How many timeouts?
I think they had all of them.
Okay, so
and analytically,
all the time in the world.
Analytically, this is a time where you score and go for 2, correct?
So I'm just painting this scenario.
Okay.
So you talk about like where these teams are on the cutting edge. Nobody's quite ready. Like the down by 14 thing, you're starting to see more teams after the first touchdown. Not everybody, but a lot of teams are going for 2 the first time to try to make it 6. The 15 one we talked about. 4th down, this was the 4th down conversation like 5 years ago. So there's phases to all of this. I don't know if teams are ready to like regularly adopt down 10, go for 2 to make a field goal, win it. But let's just talk about what happened. So they try to just take the foregone conclusion of making this extra point. This sun is blaring on my face right now.
I see.
I'm going to shut the blinds. Hold on. So they just take the points, make it a 3-point. It's a field goal game, right? That's what everyone's saying. Make it a field goal game. Don't make it a touchdown game. He misses the extra point. So they now are down 4 and they need a touchdown to win. No longer a field goal could tie. If they would have went for 2 and failed, they still would have been down 4. What is the difference at the end of the game for Harbaugh?
The press conference.
Dicker, the kicker, needs to be better. He's been awesome all year, and he missed the kick. You go for 2. The question is, coach, you are the – now, it didn't matter. They never got the ball back. But if Justin Herbert got that ball down 4, that conversation, if you need a touchdown and you get goal to go and you come up short, it's like, if only you were down 3, you would have kicked the field goal and tied the game. Well, you missed the extra point, but now the coach doesn't have to justify. The coach just says, my kicker stinks. I'm a great coach.
Yeah. Listen,
that's fair.
You've really gotten me on the down 14 late. You score the first touchdown, you go for 2. I'm understanding that level of aggression, but 10 points. I'm not seeing where it's go for 2 in the situation.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion.
That's so. Yeah, I guess this is where that phase is still, that gap starting to close.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it like you clearly just kicked the extra point.
I'm starting to naturally feel like when you're down 10, that's what I was asking at the time, if you're within like what, 6-7 minutes, I'm starting to, fuck. If you're around that time frame, I am now starting to naturally think if you're down 10 and you score, you now go for 2. So I'm starting to get into that new world where, Greg and they're teaching you all this analytical side of football and what you would do. So yeah, hearing that, I'm thinking, oh damn, that's a bad move on the coaching side to not go for 2 in that situation.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's a no-brainer. I'm not saying that if it was me that I feel so strongly that I would do it every time. I'm not suggesting that. All I'm suggesting is we have programmed the anti-analytics, the anti-2 crowd has built their argument from point after tries are 100% successful all of the time, and 2-point plays are failures. Like, we have completely taken both ends of the extremes where no one ever misses a PAT and everyone always fails a 2-point play. And it's just obviously not true.
Yeah, it's obviously not true, but still I feel like the percentages are way different. I think we talked about 2-point conversions being 50%?
Close.
They're like in the mid-40s.
Okay, the mid-40s. Point after try is, I got to believe, in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I bet you it's higher. I bet you it's
low.
Yeah,
I'm just being conservative, so some guy on the internet right now is all like, actually, it's this,
Yeah.
So
from an
Taylor's he's battling an imaginary hater right now.
Just in case. This is called covering. It's like Will holding his tweet back for a couple extra minutes. You got to do that.
2-point tries are hard. That's why you typically want multiple cracks at them.
Yeah.
Right. So like it just, that's the whole idea. Again, the down 14, the down 15, you want multiple cracks. You want multiple opportunities to get them, because going 1 for 1 is hard. Going 1 for 1 is less than a coin flip.
How many 2-point plays when you were playing did you guys practice? 1, maybe 2?
We on our call sheet, probably inside the 5. Those were probably your inside the 5. We probably had 5 total.
Yeah. And there's
5 or 6.
And there's
couple runs, couple passes.
There's one,
and then
maybe
you had like
2.
your
You're
goal
like,
line offense, which I guess was like a separate, like that was like jumbo 23 big bodies, and everyone had like a million different tight end play actions and fake. We did a shit ton of it with Cam. Our goal line stuff was actually really good. Obviously, he was a huge factor in that because he was such a threat, whether he was in gun, whether he was under center. So like our goal line stuff was pretty extensive just because of him. But teams have way more now than they used to.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Greg. What would the conversation So if we're talking about the extremes on the analytics side of like, you're not wrong trying to kick the extra point, but that one right there, you miss, yada, yada, yada. What would be your conversation with Coach Harbaugh or a head coach on what their thinking is, or what they should challenge themselves to interrogate about themselves on why you don't go for two in that situation?
Like if I was trying to convince them why.
Right, like if you're sitting there and you're in a room with these head coaches on thinking about this level of thinking with the 2-point conversion, because a lot of it does come back to this presser. Like, hey, what are we avoiding by not trying to go for two here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the first thing I would try to just present is how much of your decision making is affected on your desire or lack thereof of answering these questions. Like, how much does that matter to you? How much does public perception? How much does criticism? How much does the fallback matter? And I think it's a fair, I don't blame coaches who do value it. I think there's certain coaches that have built up more credits and more stock that those post-game press conferences are a non-factor, right? Their job's not on the line. They're not under constant heat. It's a very different experience in different markets for different coaches based on market size, media, how much they've won or lost, right? Like certain coaches are Teflon. You're not going to get up there and question decisions made by, I guess we saw Andy Reid get questioned this year, but that seems kind of stupid. Mm-hmm. So I do think there are varying degrees of your ability to stand at the podium and say nothing any of you say matter. My job is safe and I'll do it again, right? It's the Dan Campbell effect. So you first got to just decide how much is your decision-making being influenced by any of those emotions. If these are emotional decisions and you value that as a person, the conversation should end, right? There's no convincing anyone that what emotions they feel aren't real. I'm never going to convince anyone otherwise, right? If that's just how you feel, you might be wrong, but I'm never going to win that An emotional battle is never going to be won. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If that's not the limiting factor and they are open-minded to just talking about, okay, what does improve our chances? It comes down to trying to win the game when you get an opportunity in regulation. Now, regular season, postseason has changed. Overtime has changed a little bit. So the odds are a little bit more in your favor with both teams getting a possession. But by and large, I would try to operate as often as possible. If I get an opportunity to win the game in regulation, I'm going to do it. And those would probably be like my two main North Stars. And then there's a lot of nuance and situation and strengths of your team and quarterback style and offensive play caller. Like, then there's a lot of like team nuance that each team has to make their own decision based. But like those two guiding principles would be where I would start personally.
Yeah. The thing I love about this conversation is that you're exactly the last thing you said is, like, it's not like a black and white type of thing. It depends on what personnel you have, what quarterback, and that's what makes it so much more fun to look into and see, like, hey, what coach is willing to slap their balls on the table and be like, this is what we're going to do week in and week out, regardless of circumstance. While you were talking, I was thinking about the 15 points, being down 15. You go for two on the first touchdown, you don't get it. The second time you have to, never mind. You know what? I've worked through it in my head. You have to go for two in the second one to even tie it. So never mind. I'm back.
Again, not to rehash all of that, because
if you don't get the first one, you're down 9.
Right.
So that's where him trying to wrap our heads around going for two down 15 is where I'm kind of a little. That's where I get a little bit more resistant.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down to take the emotion out of it. From a practical standpoint, would you rather be down 9 with 3.5 minutes, or would you rather be down 2 with 15 seconds?
No, yeah, I understand that.
That's it. From a non-emotional, not the how hard I'm going to play on defense, and the defense is so more motivated down 8 than they are 9, and
momentum,
the guys on the sideline are slapping each other on the backs. Like, eliminate all of that.
Yeah.
Just from a practical sense, the argument against what Philly did and what everyone came after me for supporting was, they assumed that you missed the first one and you're down 9 and you're an idiot. Be down 8 and it's a 1-score game and take it to overtime.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm down 9 is because I failed on the 2-point conversion. So why would being down 8 Why should I assume I get the 2-point conversion?
Defense
You
be a little
can't
bit
have
more
it
tired.
both ways.
Defense a little
You can't say
bit.
you went for it
Defense a little
first.
bit more retired, a little bit more defeated. They're like, fuck, they're probably gonna get this.
Yeah,
one.
it's
I hate
emotion.
that my
Versus
bad,
the first one,
my
I'm like,
bad
oh, we're gonna
question
lock this
started
one
this
in.
conversation. I apologize.
It's emotion. And that's why I said, if emotion's going to run it, you're never going to win the battle. And that's okay. I'm not saying those feelings aren't real. I'm just saying they're not impactful. And if they are impactful, you should fire your defense. You should cut everyone. If Will Compton is not going to run through his A gap on a run blitz hard down 9 than he would down 8, then he shouldn't be your Mike Backer.
The reason I'm laughing is right before he started to go, your feelings, like, it's fair to feel what you say, but they're not impactful. Before he started to say that, a switch flipped in my mind to where he's now talking to his wife. I'm thinking, I wonder how this would go if you're telling this to your wife. Like, I'm not saying your feelings are wrong.
Like, yeah. They're just not
And then
impactful
once
to
he
this
said
situation.
once he said they're just not impactful,
I gotta
that's where
drop that on
lost.
Taylor one day just to see how it goes. Hit you boys up. Don't do it. It's not the move. All right, we interrupt this episode to bring you Roast Sparks. Roast Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon against softness. Roast Sparks can give you bigger, thicker, longer erections because they get fuller after Roast Sparks dissolve. They work in about 15 minutes on average. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Do me a favor, connect with the provider at ro.co/bussin to find out if prescription Roast Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/bussin for $15 off your first order. Let's get back to the episode with Greg Olsen. Did you get a chance to check out the Steelers and the Browns?
I didn't. That game was going on right when my game was going
Who
on.
cares, man? You lost to the Browns, bro.
You don't really need to know the game, but Myles Garrett obviously one sack away from holding the record from a solo standpoint. After the game, he said they were worried about keeping me away from Aaron Rodgers, more worried about that than getting the win. That's what came back to bite them. Have you ever been in a situation where, like in your career, where someone was chasing a record, and if there was a meeting room about that? Because it seemed like with the Steelers, and I think there was like conversations taking place, like if he beats you, whatever, grab his face mask, do not let him get it. And then in the game, in the fourth quarter, they had multiple 3-and-outs, but there are a few times that Myles Garrett's like basically getting there, and Aaron Rodgers is like, fuck this, and just dumps it off to the side. Like they seemed very obvious. They're more worried about Myles than they were, hey, let's go try to win this game.
You know, it kind of reminds me, I don't know, did you guys play high school basketball?
No, 1 year in 8th grade. Fourth.
All right, so high school basketball, we were like a average, we were fine. But we would go play some of these teams that were real good, and they were just better than us. So this is what kind of reminds me, like before the game, like you and your buddies, you'd sit there and you'd be like, we could lose by 50. You cannot let anyone dunk. Like, we're fouling guys, we're flipping them upside down, we're sending them into the wall, intentional fouls, techs, whatever it takes. Nobody dunks. That's kind of like what this reminds me of, right? Like, you say, we can concede the game, we're not going to give up, we're going to throw the ball in the ground, we're going to spike it. Do not let Myles Garrett live in infamy that Aaron Rodgers is Brett Favre, right? Where he's the quarterback we see sacked, when Strahan breaks the record. So, like, that's where my mind goes on all this. Whether that's real or not, I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask Rodgers and those guys. But I don't blame them. Like, I didn't want teams to break records against us. Those years that you were losing, if you played a divisional rival or somebody that you could knock out of the playoffs and you were already out, you're like, well, if I'm going to be home, I'm going to ruin their season. So I just think that's kind of the NFL. I don't know if anyone in the NFL wants to see in their moment, in their game, their team get like better, one-upped. Mm-hmm. So if that was their mindset and they didn't want them to break the record, then I have no problems with it.
Yeah, like I got there's part of me that thinks, and again, I'm just assuming, but Aaron's playing is like he's trying to play to win, but in the back of Aaron's mind, he's like, this is not another thing where I'm going to follow suit with Brett Favre. I'm not going to take over Brett Favre's
you
clip.
think history was in the back of his mind?
Yeah, as a competitor, like why wouldn't he think about that?
Yeah,
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
I mean,
like all the things where he's kind of like he's been the next Brett Favre at Green Bay, like going and playing for different teams, like the Jets,
different team,
same different teams, like all of these things, and just the relationship they seem to have had with everything that's come out. I'm just sure, like as a competitor, that was 1,000% probably in his mind to some extent. You know what I mean? Like I'm not taking over Brett Favre's clip for like giving up the record sack.
Yeah.
It's so surprising to me. Like we had Deion Dawkins on last week. He was playing the Browns, and in that game, it's like, hey, he's coming. Like you don't make sure you're not the guy, and it ends up not being the guy. Now the Steelers game has happened. Now there's only one game left for him to get this. I just keep picturing in my head like it's the fourth quarter. There's a couple of minutes left, and I don't even who are the Browns playing.
I think it's the Bengals, so it's a game that means nothing.
Game means nothing.
Everybody right now this week is planning for, hey, where are we going in the offseason?
Right, and so does Joe Burrow. He'll probably get sacked anyway based on the way his career has gone and getting sacked. But does Joe Burrow bend the knee and kind of give Myles Garrett one to take home the all-time record? Because Myles, when he was getting close, there's like
Divisional
3-4 games,
rival?
and it was like he had like 25 taped to his wrist. He's thinking beyond the sack record. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna handle this no problem. Now there's got to be a level of like, I might never get here again. I might never get to the opportunity where I can break the record.
Absolutely.
Panic is starting to set in probably in his
Absolutely.
camp. Like I've got to get this fucking record now, and if I don't, like I'll probably never sniff this again.
And the Bengals, like even though you say Joe B, is he going to be like? I don't think the division rival. To me, if you're the Bengals, there is no goal for this game. The entire goal should be Myles Garrett is not getting this record on us.
But Joey B's kind of got that. You could see his press conferences with the Bengals. He's he doesn't seem like he's happy. He's saying very vague things.
You say he's just going to get
I
it to
could
him?
see Joe pulling Aaron
Favre.
Rodgers, which not Aaron
Favre.
Rodgers, Brett Favre, where Brett was like, it was kind of known that like Brett kind of gave it to Michael
Play
Strahan.
action fell down.
Yeah, play action, fell down, let him have it. Like, could we see Joe Burrow be like, let me get this
Oh,
guy
no way.
one or two, set the tone. Who's going to set it? I'll set it for the boy. Because this is true history that we're looking at here. It's like, it's crazy.
I like
Thoughts?
thinking that this game now has true meaning.
True meaning. Because
Dude,
It's a great game for Myles Garrett to try to break it, right? Because the offensive line's poor, historically the last couple of years they've been poor, and they're going to throw the shit out of the ball.
yeah,
Right. So you're going to get a ton of pass attempts. You're going to get a ton of passing downs. If for whatever reason they don't give up a sack to Myles Garrett, then we have to look back on the last couple of years and be like, what? How come when the game meant nothing, you guys protected the shit out of Joe Burrow? And for the last 3 years, we've seen him just get his block knocked off. What's going on here? Like all of a sudden you guys needed this record to like motivate yourselves.
That's a good
That
point.
is wild.
Hey, but Greg, if you're a tight end on the Bengals, like what would be your goal going into the game? Like, are you somebody that would, as a tight end, be like, hey, coach, like, Chip, I'll fucking block all game. We're not letting Myles Garrett get this sack.
I mean, I did my fair share of chips. I had my fair share of like, guy didn't see me coming, ear hole shot. I didn't love that. Like, I didn't love the idea of like ear holing a guy who wasn't looking at me. I mean, I did it. It wasn't something I got great pride out of. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm a badass because I just earholed this guy who didn't see me. I want to run down the field. Like my life, my whole career was like running down the field far. Like I watch a lot of these offenses now.
Far.
Don't get me wrong, these guys are awesome. But like it's naked flat, it's naked drag, it's naked over. And I'm looking at myself like, oh my God, I would have caught 3,000 balls in these offenses. Like, we were vertical. We were going downfield. We were middle benders. We were deep overs. We were 22 inside numbers of the hash and 2 yards inside the hash. Like I couldn't afford to chip anyone unless you just ran a flat or a check. And I had no interest in any of that. Like I wanted downfield, ball in the air yards. That was just my game. So I would have had a hard time playing in an offense where the whole game I just edged and chipped. We did it, but it was not something that I wanted to make a living doing because it just really, it cuts down on the types of routes you can run.
Yeah. You live that.
I'm wondering if you're ready to just sacrifice running routes so that way you can keep
Greg
Myles Garrett.
he's talking about making a
am I
living.
trying to hit 80 catches for a
That's true. Like, are
we're
you
worried
a
about
few
Myles
away?
Garrett's record? Yeah. I mean, what about my incentive about 80 catches? I get
No doubt.
250 grand. Do we care about that?
Greg, if you spent your life worrying about chipping people and not moving the ball down the field, you're standing up to close your blinds when the sun's in your face.
Correct. And
That's
instead of
what's
just
happening.
hitting a button.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Is it a little bit better now?
It is a lot better. Yeah, you see.
Here's what I will say though, and Taylor, you'll appreciate this. And every tackle I ever played with, like even when we got like new guys, like Michael Orr came and Khalil's brother Matt came. So we had a couple like tackles join us in our run in Carolina. And they all loved this. So pat on the back to me. I played 90% of the game in a 2-point stance, but attached to the tackle. We had kind of formed in 11 personnel, like in passing situations. But my rule was I never let the defensive end ever line up outside of me. So I was never going to take my split, my distance from you. If I was lined up on the left side and I was trying to gauge my distance from you as the left tackle, I would say I'm always going to capture the defensive end. I didn't want to stand so close to you. I'm 2 yards from you. And then Myles Garrett's a wide 9 technique outside me. I go run my route and you sit. Myles Garrett is like 6 yards from you running at your face.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's terrifying. But how often do you see tight ends? They come up, they set their feet, and then the defensive end picks where he needs to go.
Yeah.
I would come real wide out of the huddle, wait for the defensive end to pick his landmark on you, and then I would reduce my split. And I'll never forget, I was playing in Detroit one year, Kyle Vanden Bosch. Remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'd wear those
Nebraska boy
lens, contact lenses and shit, where like he didn't have a pupil. Like this guy was a maniac. And I'm messing with him in my split, and I'm not letting him take these like wide ghost 9 splits on pass downs. And he's losing his shit, and he's trying to move, and I just keep moving with him, just trying to capture him on the tackle. And he looks at me, and he motherfucks me and screams in my face about moving my split. I almost shit my pants. He was like a demon. I was like, dude, you're scary as shit, and you'll probably kill me on the next run play, but I am not going to let you line up on our left tackle 9 yards off of his ankle.
That is
welcome.
That is big time, and you should absolutely pat yourself on the back for that. There was nothing.
The left tackle needs to be sending. Did he send you a Christmas gift this year?
Every year.
I love it, dude. I love it because we would go through. We would play like big time guys like do Suggs or Miller or whoever, and it'd be like, hey, we're gonna chip. We would go through indie periods of like, hey, these are how the tackles like to get chipped, and there was nothing worse to me than when the tight end would line up tight to me, and then the defensive end would line up in a wide 9 on the outside of him, and the chip would be, oh, he beat me off the ball. Let me push him in the back so he gets more of a jump start. And I literally would just tell you guys, I'm like, bro, if I don't need you to do much, just get in front of him for a second and bring him to me. That's all I want you to do. Bring him to me.
You got to contain him. You got to capture him and push him in.
Funnel him in. But when you are behind him and you're pushing his ass so he gets farther up the field, I'm in panic mode now. I have to get the hell out of whatever situation I am. I don't know where I am as far as pocket integrity or nothing. And it's absolute hell. It's the worst feeling in the world.
When the tight end aligns outside of him, I could chip him.
Yeah.
I could like crack him on some sort of like pin and pull outside run play. What I really liked about it, the twice a game that they asked me to pass protect, I liked being on the outside, and I would just power jump the shit out of him outside in, and I would just ear hole him, snatch him at the line of scrimmage. I didn't want to set as a 9 technique myself. If you didn't want to do it, I sure as shit didn't want to do it. It just made the game so much easier when there was the tight end and the tackle and the defensive end lined up in between them.
Yes.
That's the idea. I just don't know why more people don't do it.
Yeah, and I don't understand tight ends pass setting. It always looks terrible. They don't know what they're doing. Exactly. Get on them right away. I'll come help you in a minute. Because it's like play action. I'm gonna go into the B gap. I'm gonna check my linebacker, and the first thing I'm doing is gonna check you. Just lose outside, and I'll meet you between him and the quarterback.
Dude, I'm sure it happened a handful of times over the years, but like if I got trapped on a pass set, we used to call it Randy Louie, where like the tight end had the end, the line would slide away, and then the back was like my help. But like if the backs guy came, then I was one-on-one. If I had that guy outside of me and I knew it was like a traditional kick set wide punch, I was like, all right, man, like this is going to be a fucking battle.
Yeah.
But if I had that guy inside, it didn't matter who he was. If I knew I could block him down from the outside and then just wrestle him, even if he knocked me back, he had to knock me back from the line of scrimmage, I was fine.
Yeah. That's die a slow death. Like you understand the process. You understand. I love how we're all talking about our fears. You blocking 1-on-1, me getting a wide 9s ass pushed, you playing man coverage. It's all hell.
Anytime a back motions out of the backfield and we can't check
to
rat or replace with the safety blitzing to where I could take the blitz and he can go cover the back. I was in a mental hell.
We should have a segment where we each get to air our like worst nightmare that we had to like hide for 20 years when we played.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to admit any of these things suck. We just had to be
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm good at everything.
Right.
There's nothing I can't do. And now we have like it's like a free get out of jail card. You get like one segment a Monday where you can admit all the shit you weren't good at and that you were scared to death of doing.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Because it's so funny how like that the plays we're talking about probably happen 2 or 3 times a game, but we would spend most of the game thinking, when are these 2 or 3 times
Most of the
going
week.
to happen?
Most of the week.
Most of the week.
What situation could this
And
come
it's
up
like,
in?
yeah, I feel good about this, this, and this, but if this comes up, I swear to God, and then you'd be in like the second quarter being like, when's it gonna happen? When you're in the middle, you just finished a play, you're like, I hope it's not this next play coming up.
It's like a 3rd down. You're like, it's 3rd and 6. You're looking at the sideline. You're like, don't call it.
Yeah, don't.
Send
Dude,
me on a route. I'm doing good down the field.
I would tell my coaches, I'd be like, hey, listen, I don't care about like a lot of chips. I just need one early in the game. I need one like legit chip him early in the game. That way he's thinking about it anytime the tight end would come in, and then give me one around the 3rd quarter. Give me 2 and I'm happy because it makes them think. And that's all I need is for them just to think a little bit. Then I'll be all right. But it was a terrifying
At the end of my career, when you're old and you just say whatever the fuck you want to say and you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
We would be in like install meeting on 3rd down. And if there was like more than one play where the tight end had to stay in, and remember like back early in our careers, we used to call it like Mustang protection, where like the tight end and the running back would stand next to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like full 7-man protection. And anyway, like that, or when you had to block the DN, if they had more than like 1 or 2 of those, it'd be like, hey, anybody have any questions? I'd be like, I got a question. And be like, all right, what, Olsen? I'd be like, so this $25 million an end that all week I've heard we got to chip and we got to eng and we got to give body presence to our $15 million tackles. I'm going to block him on 3rd and 8 by myself while they all slide to nobody. I just want to make sure I have the protection understood correctly. Because for the last 4 days, I've been beat down my face about chip, edge, don't get wide with your split, running backs, give body presence. But now on 3rd and 8, it's like, don't worry, Olsen's got Von Miller, and everyone else, you just go slide and just do this whole slide thing where nobody touches anyone. That's what we're going to call on 3rd and 8. And everyone would laugh, but I was like, I'm not even joking. This is so stupid.
Right. You're not joking. Yes, I feel you there. Like when I would have to eventually soil the DN because they wouldn't want to bam in the red zone, and I'll just back. So just again, we want to get this clear. What we're worried about in the red zone, inside, let's say the 15, we're worried about this choice route from Darren Sproles. You're telling me I can't bam when I know this option route's coming because he's going to be in an obvious chow alignment. I can't bam the end. You want me to cover him one-on-one? I just want to be clear because I've asked if I could bam all week and nobody's really told me anything.
What the fuck does bam mean?
Bam is when the end will come out and hit or bam the running back.
And like he'll
he'll push it. So
defensive chip.
Yeah, basically a defensive chip.
I hadn't heard that.
So that way the running back, once they get hit, they have to just get in their route ASAP versus coming up to stem you.
You gotta let the tailback get a free release one-on-one in space, and then when he scores, you'll get coached up about where your alignment was and where your leverage was, and
you got to close the distance, stay inside out. You got to get your hands on him at some point. It's Darren fucking Sproles.
Yeah,
but the ends will get mad because the ends, you got to take them out of their pass rush because like, you want me to bam Sproles when you're expected to cover? I'm like, it's Darren Sproles. I would love if I could just get some kind of chip on this man.
Yeah.
Before we run their highly targeted, their favorite route, which is a choice route in the red zone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the offensive quality control guy stood up there on Wednesday on scout team and said, hey guys, Darren Sproles, I could have told you it was a touchdown 4 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can just imagine Will and the defensive end coming up to Will and be like, yo, what are you making me bam? He's like, bro, trust me, I'd rather not be in that play. Yeah. I'd rather not be in.
It'd be Trent
Murphy.
Murphy.
But unfortunately, I'm in, so I need you to bam him.
It'd be Trent Murphy
Will's
and Ryan
listen,
Kerrigan.
bud, I'd rather get a fucking calf cramp and come out of the game. I'm not thrilled about it either.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. Yeah, that's I'm glad we got to work through that.
What else we got?
We got a playoff game with your Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow.
That's a game that means something. Winning in. Both of you guys lost over the weekend. I do like the Panthers this week. Like if I'm leaning on anything, it's going to be the defense of the Panthers.
Yeah, it's a win and in. There is this like weird not a weird scenario, but there is this like far-fetched scenario that if somehow the Falcons beat the Rams tonight, then even if Tampa beats Carolina next week, if the Falcons also win and they play New Orleans, that it would be a three-way tie. And then Carolina, even if they lost, they would be an 8-9 winner.
So they'd still get in.
So they'd still get in. So that's if
the Falcons beat the Rams.
Let's assume
tonight,
that the Falcons don't beat the Rams tonight.
Good assumption.
Then, yeah, that's a win and in. The way Carolina is very weird. Like 1 week good, 1 week off. They've kind of one lost. They kind of bounce back and forth weekly over the last like 8 weeks. Tampa Bay is really struggling. They just cannot find their way. This back half of the season, after starting so strong, they have just not been nearly as effective, not nearly as efficient, especially on offense. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Carolina make the playoffs. I think that'd be really cool. We haven't been since 2017. So it's been a while. So I think it's fascinating that after all this, it's going to come down to one game, week 18, most likely winner take all. But yeah, I think Carolina's got a great shot. They seem to bounce back. They seem to lose after they win and win after they lose. So from a pattern standpoint, week 18 looks good.
Yeah, I love the pattern talk. My kids are all about patterns right now. I think you're right. Like the run game, the Panthers. I think Bryce has actually looked better this year.
Yeah.
He makes some really good throws, and it's like the inconsistency. But at the same time, you look at Tampa Bay, and just riddled with injuries. Something's wrong with Baker. It feels like he looks like a guy that's just like willing himself to play every single week when he needs to be on a stretcher or getting some rehab. So yeah, I like the Panthers as well. I like the Panthers. I think it doesn't really matter. I think whichever team goes in the playoffs, it's a very short playoff run, but making the playoffs still says a lot about your franchise.
Yeah. You get into the
the dance.
Yeah.
You get in the dance. Anything can happen.
How do you see the 1 seeds taken out? Because I want to get to where we're talking who we think could make the run to the Super Bowl. Big games next week. You'll have Seattle and the Niners, which which has massive implications.
Yeah, the winner of that game has the 1 seed.
Yeah,
which is wild. The 49ers.
49ers have just kind of been in the shadows all year, winning and taking care of business.
Yeah, which you gotta love that about them, man. Good,
yeah,
like Shanahan, incredible. But who you got in that game?
I think Shanahan. I said this yesterday in our game. We had Indianapolis and Jacksonville. We were talking about the job Liam Cohen's done, and they got one Pro Bowler, and it's the long snapper, and what a job he's done. They won their 12th game and all that. And I made the comment that it's probably the most packed Coach of the Year candidate pool in years. I mean, you start talking about like the 1 year turnarounds, Ben Johnson, Vrabel, and Liam Cohen. Then you start talking about the job Mike McDonald's done in his second year in Seattle, getting that right back on track, arguably the best team in the league, give or take. And then with Shanahan, a guy that we've seen play in Super Bowls, a guy that's name has been in the mix of, one of the top coaches in the league for a long time. So maybe we don't appreciate because we just assume the 49ers should always be good. But I mean, you look at what that team has gone through, right? They lost Brock Purdy for stretches of game. They lose Fred Warner, done. Bosa, done.
Kittle
They've
at times.
missed Kittle. I want to say last night was Kittle's like 4th or 5th missed game. They've played without chunks. Ayuk just disappeared off the face of the earth. Like, they have had some really interesting roster situations, and now here they are in a week 18 win, and not only win your division, but get the first round bye as the 1 seed and play and have home field advantage through the Super Bowl potentially. So Shanahan's in that mix. I think it's remarkable. That game last night was incredible, scoring 40 plus. I worry defensively in the playoffs. We've talked about that on here a lot. I think defense matters a lot more come postseason than it does in the regular season. The teams that make the playoffs are disproportionately offensively driven. There's a few anomalies, Texans in the past, there's been some teams that have been rode on their defense, but it's mostly good teams that can score points. So now it's like, okay, who can actually stop somebody? Like who can actually play competent defense, run game? Some of the things that don't have as big of an impact over the course of a long season do matter in a one and done scenario in the playoffs. So I'd still go with Seattle because I think Seattle's defense is as good, if not better than any. I think offensively, they're still hit or miss. They're still not exactly sure. They got to get that pass game back to what it was. But San Francisco's offense is probably the best offense of the last 3 or 4 weeks in the league. The defense scares me.
Yeah, Brock Purdy has been playing incredible. The zero pass rush by the defense right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. Kyle Shanahan is plus 130. He's the favorite right now.
He's the favorite?
He's the favorite for Coach of the Year, followed by Mike Vrabel.
So you would have to bet 130 to win 100?
No, if you bet 100, you'll win 130. So
Okay.
yeah, it's plus odds. These are futures bets. So usually
odds.
they're always going to sit in the plus. So Shanahan's plus 130. Mike Vrabel is next at 140, plus 140. Then there's a big drop off of Mike McDonald at plus 500. And then Liam Cohen is at 1,500 from there, which I thought Liam would be a little higher than that.
It's honestly just because of the market that they're in. Like it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like nobody started
but
to talk.
Vrabel's won Coach of the Year in 21 or something like that with the Titans, and they're probably less
Ron
than.
Rivera won Coach of the Year.
That's fair.
Ron Rivera won Coach of the Year twice with us, and
Yeah.
we're a small market.
It's interesting. I mean, Liam Cohen,
Dude, it is.
But is
The
that betting
Jaguars?
odds? Let me ask you this, because again, I'm not overly familiar with how the whole thing works. So, like, is there an element to that where name recognition? So, for these odds makers, the Shanahans of the world are going to just get more bets placed on them because there's more name recognition as opposed to Liam Cohen. So, they got to reduce the odds of a guy like Shanahan because he's going to get so much action. Is that part of it?
Yeah, it's like I want to say Vegas. They understand the pulse of what's going to happen or what's going on at this current moment. So, for example, like the moment Fernando Mendoza. So it was very close between Diego Pavia and Fernando Mendoza, and this is just one example of like a futures bet. They were both neck and neck going into.
Diego was a favorite over
That's right.
Mendoza.
Yeah, Diego was a favorite over Mendoza. And the talk that week was if Fernando Mendoza has a good game against Ohio State, like a good quarterback, he got stats, got touchdowns, all this stuff, like Fernando Mendoza could edge out and could beat Diego Pavia. Well, Fernando Mendoza only threw what? One touchdown.
Yeah.
Threw
Had
about
a big third down
200
late
yards.
in the game.
Yeah, big third down late in the game, but nothing that's like he should have ran away with this. But the moment that game ended, Fernando Mendoza became minus 3,000 in the sports book to win the Heisman. So it's like they ultimately knew who was going to win a Heisman immediately after that game concluded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where you could argue, you could talk about the Diego all you wanted, but he wasn't even close once that game ended.
Yep.
As far as the sports book and the markets and the betting odds and everything else. So what FanDuel's saying this is Shanahan's become a real favorite. They don't know who's going to win out of Vrabel and Shanahan. That's why they're only 10 off. Who was third on the list?
Mike McDonald, but he was plus 500.
Mike McDonald plus 500, and then Liam Cohen at plus 1,500 is just in the world of us arguing or debating about it. It seems bizarre because Liam Cohen has just as good of a resume, if not better, than everybody else. Like I know there's a lot of great candidates. Like even Ben Johnson, he wasn't even in the top four. He's probably He's probably sitting at fifth in the odds. I get that they just lost, and Shanahan that kind of edges him out there. But as far as how close the race could be, it seems like it's going to come down to Vrabel or Shanahan. If Shanahan wins this next week against getting the 1 seed over Seattle, it seems like Shanahan's going to get it. If the Niners lose and Vrabel, they beat, who do they play? The Dolphins?
Yeah.
I have that game. I got Patriots, Dolphins.
Yeah, so Patriots, Dolphins. If Patriots win and Niners lose, like Vrabel, it seems like he's going to be the likely one to win Coach of the Year. That's how the odds, that's how the markets kind of have it set up.
The next two after that was Ben Johnson at plus 2,000 and then Sean Payton at plus 6,000.
Yeah.
So right now it's a two-man race. It's a two-man race.
I think they're taking into account all the momentum that Jacksonville has, though.
Yeah,
they've won 7 games in a row.
Dude, I'm with you. I know that. I know you're joking, but to me, that's why it's also so bizarre because what Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, he's been playing really well. Like what Jacksonville's done this year compared to what they go last year, 4-13.
Yeah, yep.
4-13 to where they're now they're only a 4-loss team. What they've done, it seems wild that the gap is so far with Liam Cohen being in this coach.
And they had one Pro Bowl player on their whole roster.
Yeah, and the crazy you brought up is the long snapper because I know the Patriots had 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers. I mean, Drake May was
one of them is the quarterback.
Yeah, one of them's quarterback who is a serious.
Who's arguably the MVP of the league.
Arguably MVP, but he wasn't an MVP caliber quarterback. At the beginning of the year, in August and September, the conversation revolving around Drake May was one more year, and he's going to be a guy in this league. And then all of a sudden, after they started with a 1-2 early in the year, it became like, oh, Drake May is the guy. Which would tell you that a lot of coaching took place. Guys, if you look at their roster, and I'm not very familiar with Jaguars roster, but the Patriots roster isn't a roster. It's like Ravens, Eagles, like even the Bengals. Like they're not a roster that you're like, you can really hang on and be like, this is a contending team. Yet, I think who the Broncos play. Because if the Broncos lose and they win,
Broncos play the Chargers.
So Broncos lose to the Chargers, and the Patriots beat Miami. They have the 1 seed.
Right.
So that's what you look at and be like, oh, I can see why Vrabel should be a coach of the year guy. I think Liam Combs should be in that 150, 160 range. If he's a third, put him at plus 160, because those guys do have a hell of a resume to say I should be coach of the year. Those three, especially. And I would throw Ben Johnson in there as well. It's incredible Caleb Williams is a similar conversation too. Like this year, it's like he's all these bad habits. They're kind of masking him and stuff like that. But the kid he truly has gotten better every single week. So it's going to be awesome to see.
And then again, I'm not taking anything away from Vrabel because I think he's a really good coach. I do think there is an element also for some of those guys where they're calling the plays. They're coaching the quarterback. They're like, and again, I'm not saying Vrabel's not doing a ton because he obviously has won in multiple spots. Again, I'm not making this an anti-Vrabel thing at all. But like last night when you're watching San Francisco fight that game out, you're watching Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan duel it out, where the only reason San Francisco won is they scored 40 plus points in regulation.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
So like that was two high-level head coaches who were also calling the plays, who were also coaching the quarterback, who were also that's a big, huge impact. I mean, that's why those coaches are the ones everybody's trying to go find. The advantage New England's going to have, and this was I give a lot of credit to Vrabel for how he did this, is if you're not going to call the offensive plays as a head coach, the next best option is to hire a formerly fired offensive head coach that likely is not going to be stolen away from you anytime soon. Like, I don't know if for as good of a job as Josh McDaniels has done with Drake May, you don't ever hear his name as the next head coach. You hear Clint Kubiak and you hear all these, because we've seen Josh Daniels be a head coach. And now maybe in his next time, he would do a great job. Who knows? But like, there's an advantage to hire former fired head coaches as your coordinator on the other side of the ball, because you're not fearful you're going to lose them.
Yeah.
So that's the next best scenario if that play caller is not your head coach, a la Shanahan, McVay, Ben Johnson, etc. So it's a good setup what New England has.
Yeah.
The Shanahan thing is so interesting to me because it reminds me of like what I'm assuming it was like for when people were watching Michael Jordan or Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, like these great consistent players that were so amazing. LeBron James as well, where it's like they're doing incredible things, but eventually the public's like, okay, he does incredible things, and you kind of like take away from how successful they've been. And it's like, oh, that's just them. So you don't hold the weight of them being successful as much as you would Vrabel, who comes into first year at the Patriots, Ben Johnson. It's like, oh, Kyle Shanahan, yeah, he's good. He's had a great year, a lot of injuries, but people aren't really realizing what he's done for the franchise.
Right. I think they're slowly starting to come about it now. Him becoming the favorite. It's almost like, if they win, like he'll get it.
Yeah.
And
he should.
He stop voting. Remind me when do all these awards stop? Does the playoffs count?
The playoffs, they say, do not count, but I think the voting ends after the divisional round.
You might be right.
It's sometime in the playoffs before the Super Bowl that the vote happens. And
so
it might
playoffs could become a massive factor.
A massive factor.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm excited to see what the Patriots do in the playoffs, because again, if you go by strength of schedule, they have statistically the worst strength of schedule.
Who's this?
The Patriots.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see them in the playoffs as well.
I have them for the first time this week, so I'm actually anxious to like dive in and like study them and watch them, because I've only seen them from afar. I've seen highlights, I've watched clips, but I haven't actually spent any time watching them. So I got Patriots Miami in Foxborough this weekend. So I'm actually curious if my opinions of them change better or worse at the end of the week than where I am now, before I haven't really had a chance to dive in yet.
I think they'll come out better. Like, Drake May is such a baller. Everybody knows what Drake May's been doing, but just offensively, the vibe and feel, like, again, we've played for these Vrabel teams, like when the culture's hitting, when all the vibes are going and they're winning football games, like you just see the gel going on in New England. Their defense is salty. I think you'll have a lot of fun, like diving into the weeds of the Patriots.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
The buy-in's incredible.
I think they can, where it stands for me right now, like before week 18 happens, because week 18 obviously has a lot of implications, but let's say everybody handles their business and are slotted where they are currently slotted. I see the Super Bowl being Seattle and New England is what I would call it.
I would love that Super Bowl.
Seattle and New England.
I would absolutely love it. Let's talk. I mean, we know we got to get you out of here. Let's talk playoffs real quick. If I said to you, Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans, Los Angeles Chargers, Buffalo Bills, and I left out Steelers and Ravens there because we'll find that out next week. Of those teams I just named, who you got? Who do you think has got the best? Because I feel like people are really on the NFC, but the AFC, dude, like, they're no coming idea. Alive. I have no idea who's going to come out of that.
I really don't. I mean, I think we've been saying this every Monday morning for the last 2 months. Like, the AFC, I could make a really strong argument for every single one of those teams why they could win the whole thing and why they couldn't. I'll tell you who I think is sneaky, and I'm not saying this is my number one, but I might be. I think the Houston Texans are a sneaky postseason team.
Yeah.
Because defense is so much more important. I've said this 1,000 times, but like, defenses can carry you a lot more in the postseason than they can regular season. They got off to a fast start. Those explosive plays on Saturday night against the Chargers, like, that's what they need to be. Get Stroud pushing the ball downfield, hard play action stuff, throw it over the top of your head. So I think they're just good enough on offense to be just like middle of the road, hang in there, make the plays that are there. And I think they could be dominant, like suffocatingly dominant on defense. And we've seen that formula work. Now I could make an argument for the Patriots. I do think at some point in the playoffs, like, overall roster does start matter. Like, when you start looking at like premier players, star players, I'm not sure where Jacksonville and New England are quite yet. You know, they're very early in this rebuild, quote unquote. So I do think they have some work to do there of just getting prominent players at impactful positions. But I think that AFC, man, is just so up in the air. I think LA and Seattle are the two clear-cut over a long period of time. I think they're the two best teams. Now, whether they win or lose, who knows? But I think they're the two best teams in the NFC and then we can debate the rest, but AFC, I think it goes like 5 or 6 teams deep.
Yeah. And one team he didn't even mention was the Broncos, and they're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But that all, to me, that whole team is, what does Bo Nix do?
So the way this would work out currently where it sits, because we don't know what's going to happen with the AFC North. We don't know what's going to happen with the NFC South. But where the bracket sits right now is Houston would play Pittsburgh. Houston's going to play whoever comes out of the North. Mm-hmm. And then Houston would have to go to Denver. I think Houston matches up really well against Denver because that defense would be nasty.
That
would be a big time showdown. Yeah, that'd be a big time showdown in Denver, Houston versus Denver. Where I would lean is Houston, because I agree with you, Greg, on that team just being like a sneaky dominant team because their defense is so nasty and violent, and they got the guys that can rush the passer. They have the secondary. They got backers who can fly around the football field. And then coming out on the bottom side, it would be you'd have Jacksonville and the Chargers facing off. I would take Jacksonville in that game. You got Buffalo and the Patriots. I would be taking the Patriots. And then I think Jacksonville coming to New England. That's where New England wins. And then you would have whoever the winner is out of Denver and Houston, which who knows who's going to win that game. Dude, it's going to be hard for me to bet against Drake May, and just the focus of that everybody's going to be focused.
Yeah.
But again, being in those positions, like with Vrabel, just knowing how he talks about the game and everything else, to me, it'd be hard to get off what Drake May can do.
And the run game's coming alive too. The run game's coming alive. Drake May's throwing the best deep ball since Russell Wilson in his second year when they won the Super Bowl. Like, that's kind of what it's.
And New England being
now.
In a spot too, to where if they were to take down the Chargers or Jacksonville in Foxborough, they'll be set up to where if it's Houston coming out of it, they'll have to get through Denver. Like, that'll be a very physical game. The winner who comes out of that, to where New England will be just positioned well. Especially if Houston wins, they'll be hosting that AFC Championship game.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
that's what you want. The only thing I disagree with is I kind of lean Denver over Houston because
that's going to be an awesome game.
That's going to be an awesome game. But I just think, I mean, their offensive line's giving up the least amount of sacks this year.
Yeah,
and that's where it's like best on best. Let's see what we got here. But if you can slow those guys down even a little bit, then you put yourself in a much more advantageous situation.
I think, how many games in a row has Houston won? Like 7?
8.
7 or 8?
8 games in a row, I believe.
And Jacksonville's won. Yesterday was their 6th in a row? 7?
Yeah. Here we go again.
6. Yeah, it's one of those.
So again, I ask, which team enters the playoffs with the most juice and the most momentum and the most energy? and feeling the best. They haven't lost in months.
But if you talk about New England too, like they've really only had one bad half of football.
I know,
When Buffalo came back.
momentum.
Yes, since September.
They lost the momentum in that.
They had all their momentum.
Well, the halftime always resets momentum.
Yeah.
It resets and goes back to zero.
We haven't
I
even
need you
talked
guys
about
to
the
send me
Buffalo
like a
Bills.
momentum checklist, so I know like when it starts, when it ends, when it resets.
Yeah.
I'll send you those lists.
There's a point system as well, as far as like 3 and outs, touchdowns, field
important.
goals. Yeah, it's
You're always going to hear about momentum from me after the result happens.
Yeah, which is smart. Which is smart. Because, I would imagine that the team going in, the Texans, so the Texans play the Chargers this weekend?
Yes.
So let's just for the sake of this.
They just played.
Broncos play the Chargers.
Oh, I'm sorry. They play the
Jacksonville plays
Jacksonville
the
plays
Titans.
Texans.
Jacksonville plays the Titans.
Sneaky.
Who does the
team.
Texans play?
Texans play the Colts.
Okay. So we don't know what's going to go on with the Colts. Does Phillip Rivers play? Do they start Riley Leonard? Who knows? The Colts have lost all their momentum.
All of it.
Gone.
All of it.
People
Gone.
are saying
They've
it's
lost.
Sauce Gardner's fault. That's what people are saying.
He's 1-7, 1-7. That's a tough season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just say Houston keeps all their momentum and gets their like 9th win in a row. Tell me when their momentum ends if they lose in the playoffs.
When the clock hits 0.
Got it.
Yeah, when they lose in the playoffs.
Got it.
That makes sense.
So they have all the momentum until they lose it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Correct.
I think there's something to be said about winning a lot of, like winning your last 6 or 7 games. Damn it. I didn't mean to do that. They're winning those last games and rolling into the playoffs with momentum. That is a thing. It's a buy-in.
Agree,
it's a real
but
thing.
I heard you say they were going to lose.
I'm just saying it's going to be a battle in Denver. I like the way Houston matches up against Denver and them coming out of that game, the road, the streak that they've been on. And Houston Texans are the team where you labeled you don't want to play them in the playoffs.
Yeah, fair.
Like they are that team. I just, in my brain, if I'm trying to predict everything right now before we get into week 18, where the bracket sits, like they would just then, after going out to Denver, they would then have to go to Foxborough and winning the AFC Championship against a quarterback like Drake May. So that's where I would see they have all the momentum. 2 teams got all the momentum.
Right.
Somebody's got to lose the momentum.
We both can wait. Time out. This is going to be. We both can have momentum at the same time.
Yeah. Dude, momentum is a fickle thing.
This is crazy.
Yeah, they got all.
I wish
the
I
momentum.
knew all of this.
And then if Seattle wins against the Niners, I think it's going to be hard for Seattle to lose at home at all in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have a ton of momentum too.
Ton of momentum. But if they lose to the Niners, they lose a lot of momentum. Now they become like a wild card team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be crazy if they lost it. But like, I guess when did they lose it would be a fun thing to dive into. Like,
right?
Just depends.
Yeah,
That's why you play the game.
Listen,
That's
I
why you
love
play
it.
the game.
I'm fascinated by it. I think it's super interesting to look at it that way. And I'm going to lean more into it, I think, on my broadcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. Houston's got to be the team that has too much momentum.
Yeah. We
They'll
need
go
an
to the Super Bowl.
under-over on Greg's
Can you have
momentum.
too much that you actually like overdose?
Oh, yeah.
And it goes the other way?
Oh, yeah. That's called getting cocky.
It's called getting hit in the mouth.
Yeah. It's called getting cocky.
So we have different names like up the threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is definitely a sweet spot of momentum. There's a sweet spot you got to have.
Does everyone have a different sweet spot?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all based on the head coach.
Got it.
Yep. So,
Got it.
So a guy like Vrabel.
Now, can that head coach lose his so when did
Oh,
Vrabel?
yeah.
So Vrabel had no momentum last year, got fired, couldn't win it, but then when did he get it back?
He had
to go live in the darkness. He had to go sit with Ra's al Ghul
Yep.
for a
Got
year.
it.
Right.
And then he came back out of the shadows.
That's the thing about Braves, man. He can hold so much momentum. When you get too much momentum, you got to truly reset. That's why he had to go to Cleveland for a year.
Yeah. Vrabel's got the juice right now, too. He just randomly shot Taylor and I a text, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, love Dad.
Yeah. I looked at it, I just smiled and showed my wife. She goes, he really does treat you like that all the time. I'm like, yeah, this is my life with Braves.
This might be my favorite 5-minute segment of the year.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, I think
I just find it fascinating, and Twitter really has been educating me a lot
About
on
momentum.
like all of my shortcomings of my football takes because I don't put enough stock into. And again, I would give it more credibility if someone could tell me when it stops and starts.
Yeah, no
Listen,
doubt.
what game do you cover this week?
Patriots, so tons of momentum.
Tons of
Tons.
momentum. I'll watch that game.
Dolphins had no momentum, fired their GM, got momentum back, lost the momentum, benched Tua. Next game, no momentum. Quinn Ewers, no momentum. Last week, beat Tampa, who was playing for the division, got their momentum back.
Yep.
And now they go to the Patriots. So 2 teams with really interesting momentum.
You know what he doesn't know? He doesn't know about backup quarterback momentum or interim head coach momentum.
But Quinn did lose the first time you went out there.
They just
had to pull Quinn aside and say, "Hey, man, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just go find some juice.
So it was almost more pressure.
I'm not Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah,
I'm not
go.
right.
Yeah, go crank it this week.
Yeah.
Like, don't take this game so serious.
Yep.
Go out there and sling it.
Yep.
Do you
And that's
think
what he
the
did.
Dolphins got momentum back when the report came out that the coach wasn't going to get fired? Do you think that built their momentum back up?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of guys got some juice from that. I'll tell you what, Greg, I'll watch the game with you on Sunday.
Can you live
Patriots.
tweet the momentum shifts?
Yeah, and I'll also text you. Just make sure you just
Please.
check your phone so I can just be like, hey, it's time to talk momentum.
Can we get on a group chat and
Yeah.
we can talk
Yeah.
momentum tonight through the game, the Monday night game?
Yeah, yes, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you. We'll let you know when
Just
momentum comes
call
to
us
go.
between your commercial breaks, and we'll let you know exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. All right, welcome back here to snowy Foxborough Gillette Stadium. 14-7. Hey, guys, Joe, I just need to jump in. I just heard from the Bussin Boys. This momentum has completely flipped. There was no juice in the building, and now after that last 3 and out, New England has all the momentum.
Here's what Fox needs to do: is they need to have meters,
Meters
of momentum, of just like little like thermostats, and you just slowly they gain, they lose traction, and we can come up with a whole point system of momentum.
How many times a game in an average game, like last night, how many times do you think momentum flipped in that game?
Great question. Early in the game, momentum was stagnant because both teams were scoring back to back.
So, like, you think the first play of the game, pick 6, who had all the momentum?
Niners
gave up the pick six.
Oh yeah, my fault. Bears. Yeah. Niners threw the pick six.
I was wow, you just really that was that big brain shit.
That was about to.
I was like, am I missing something where
No.
Purdy threw the pick and then convinced himself that was the best thing for him? I thought maybe you had like some.
Now
big,
hold on, there's something to that. Like, what's your quarterback's biggest fear? Throwing a pick six, right?
Get out of the way.
Your worst fear happens right away. You can't be affected now. That's when you start to gain the momentum.
2.
Well,
Yeah, live next to fear.
yeah, next to it.
Throw a pick.
Love that. Okay, so he threw the pick 6. Chicago on the road, all the momentum.
Yeah.
That's a defense that thrives off takeaways. Best takeaway team in the league. Dennis Allen. So they get it first play of the game, pick 6, and then they proceeded to give up 42.
Right. Well, there's a lot of things that happen. So momentum can be held in the hand, but it can't be owned just off of one play. It's all about what happens in the next series.
It's
and
so
I love
just
that we're
can't
thinking through
guarantee
this
that I
right now.
keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little stagnant. Realize, hey, our momentum isn't going to be defensively this game. It's going to be offensively. Get
Yeah.
the gun. We're in a shootout.
Yeah. And Greg, can I ask you a question?
Please.
When did you stop believing in momentum? Because
I'm leaning into this as a joke.
No. But you're
Greg's
also not a
anti-momentum.
momentum guy.
Greg's anti-momentum. You're anti-momentum.
What was the phrase? Your emotions. I understand you have emotions, however, they're not valid.
They're not impactful.
They're not impactful.
Let me be very clear. I'm going to give you my official stance on all this because right now I'm like we're having fun with the conversation.
We're having fun.
There is no question in my playing career that there were games I went into the game feeling better, worse, more confident, less confident, liked the game plan, didn't like the game plan, felt great about where my hands were. Like I felt like I could really catch. And there were other games where I was like, I don't know, like there's something about this catch here that it's not hitting me right. And I'm really overthinking it. And I experience all of those ranges of emotions. And all I'm saying is it had zero difference in the outcome of the game. Games where I went in and I'm like, I'm going to catch 100. I'm feeling good. I just had back-to-back 100-yard games. I'm feeling really good. I'd have 2 catches for 17 yards. And I had 2 drops. We lost. I dropped the last third down. I probably should have caught it. I was the bad goat all week long. Olsen blew the game. And that next game you go in, you're like, shit, I hope I get an early pass. I hope I get my shit going. And you get 150. Like, I don't know. Like,
You get your momentum back.
Yeah, you got it back.
I guess my momentum came and went is my point. So, like, do I think this is an emotional game? Absolutely. Do I think teams and coaches should coach emotion? I mean, shit, you guys have seen my videos of coaching the kids. Like, I am a passionate, competitive, emotional person. Like, that's my personality. And I think football is played with emotion and football is played with energy. I'm not debating any of that is not a factor. It is. I'm just saying when it comes to decision-making and trends and what we should do on the field from a decision-making standpoint, I think we just put so much credibility into emotion and momentum, and it's really just a replacement of we don't really know why we're seeing what we're seeing. So we've just made up this non-measurable, you can't quantify it. It's the only explanation why a team could go touchdown, touchdown, pick 6, fumble, touchdown, miss the 2-point conversion, get the onside kick. Like, it's the only thing that explains the highs and lows of sport, and we don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
Momentum.
That's what I think.
So
he didn't answer the question.
Greg's going to become a momentum.
I didn't answer the question.
I want to know when you stop believing in momentum.
I'm not going to say stopped believing. That's like saying I don't believe in Santa. I still believe in there's a
magic.
The idea.
He doesn't.
Right?
Polar Express. He doesn't hear the bell anymore.
Yep.
He doesn't believe in the momentum.
Good recent.
Doesn't believe in the spirit.
I started reevaluating trends in football probably after I was done, and I've gotten into this world now where I have to now get in front of millions of people every Sunday.
Nice.
And I have to, based on an hour of conversations with these coaches, which are varying degrees of information that they provide. And I have to be able to get up there and figure out, okay, how do I best present this game to an audience that might be diehard fans? And this might be the first time they've ever watched either one of these teams, right? So you've got to split that baby and talk to the diehards, but you also can't assume everybody knows what they know because they might just put the TV on this weekend for the first time to watch Drake May. So we need to introduce Drake May and Mike Vrabel and all of these guys to the world every single week. But we have to do that where I'm not in the building. I'm not in meetings. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know the juice. I don't know who's feeling good. I don't know that Taylor's ankle's sore. I don't know that Will doesn't want to guard Darren Sproles in the goal. Like, I don't know about any of this. So I have to look at the game through black and white trends. Okay, how are they in offensive efficiency? How are they in defensive efficiency? What coverages do they love on early downs? Okay, what does this team do on the early down run game? How do those match? What is there? And you got to start breaking the game through more of like an analytical perspective, because when I put on the film, I don't know if the left tackle was supposed to have help by the left guard on a full slide protection when he got beat in the B gap and gave up a sack. I think he should have, but I don't know what the protection really was. I wasn't in the meeting like I was when I was a player. So I think the only way for me to fairly evaluate these teams and present the matchup is a more analytical approach, because it's really all we have. And as I've dove more into these trends, and then I stand up there in the booth and I watch these games unfold, more often than not, what that data, what those analytics, what those reports laid out throughout the course of the week, more times than not, is exactly how the game goes. It's exactly how the team plays early downs or the coverage or the blitz rate or whatever it is. Like, it typically holds pretty strong. I can't measure how hard you're playing. I'm assuming everyone's playing hard. So for me, it's not a factor. That is how I've now approached the game the last 5 years. And as I've approached it more like that, my understanding of the game and what I say actually happening on the field has gone up.
I love the way you just broke the whole thing down.
Who do you call games with?
Joe Davis.
Joe Davis. I got to tell you something, Joe. New England losing that game a couple weeks ago versus the Buffalo Bills was the best thing to happen to this team because it has reignited and re-sparked this momentum this team has going into the playoffs.
Love it.
You hear what I'm saying,
if
Joe?
I did that as my on-camera open, would you guys shit your pants?
Shit our pants.
No. It's got to happen. It's got to happen in the game when the Patriots score, and then we'll be in the group chat. I'll say the line, and then I tell you what, Joe.
Say it.
Yeah,
say it.
Say it. I love you. Say it back.
Yeah,
I love you. Say it back.
I love you. Say it back. Yeah.
What do you think Twitter would do? What do you think the internet? How my mentions would be a dumpster fire?
No.
If I said the word momentum, how much would people love to shit on me?
I think people that don't see this will shit on you for it. But the ones that do will love you forever for it.
And it'll be a turning point to where Greg now believes
in momentum,
in the spirit of the playoffs.
Right. Just before 2026,
he believes in
we
Shanahan.
reignited
Yeah.
Greg's love for the game and the passion of momentum.
2000 and this is my last story. 2000.
You're leaving after this?
Yeah.
You're leaving after this?
We've had him change.
Yeah. He got to go.
I'm gonna go do it. I gotta go sauna. I've eaten, guys. I don't even want to weigh in.
Listen,
Hey, 2026.
Yeah.
Give us your story. Give us your story.
It's been a bad week. A lot of late night cocktails. I've really gotten into espresso martinis. We talked about that.
hate coffee.
Separate
Crazy.
conversation.
Crazy.
Anyway, 2015. We win our first 14 games. We're 14-0. On Christmas morning, we're 14-0. That weekend, we play the Atlanta Falcons, who we had just 2 weeks prior. So in week 13, our 13th win, whatever week it was, in 13th win, we beat the Atlanta Falcons like 30-something to nothing. Week 14, we win. Christmas, our 15th game, so it's week 16, we go to Atlanta. We had just beat them by 30. We were 14-0. We had all the momentum. We're dabbing. We're fighting people in Tennessee in the end zone. I mean, we are, right, your fans are sending letters to the Charlotte Observer because
disgusting.
Cam's dabbing it. Like, you talk about emotion and high energy and vibes, and you couldn't be a more vibe team than we were in 2015. We lose to Atlanta.
Ooh, got too much.
We lose the undefeated season.
Cocky.
We too much momentum.
Yep.
We lose to Atlanta in Atlanta. Week 17, we come home. A lot of debate about whether or not we should play the starters. We locked up the 1 seed. We beat the Tampa Bay Bucs at home to finish the regular season 15-1. Bye week. We have all the momentum. Long story short, we beat Seattle. We were up 30-0 at halftime. Apparently, we left the momentum in the locker room. We had to recover an onside kick to win the game. We then beat the doors off of Arizona. We scored like 45. We were the number 1 offense in the league. We scored 30+ against Seattle. We scored 40+ against the Cardinals. We scored 10 points in the Super Bowl. So a year that was momentum and energy and vibes and good feelings and locker room, and we scored 10 points in the Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah. Really brings you
So
back.
my point is, like, along the ride, were we good because we were good, or were we good because we had vibes? Were we good because we had momentum? I just think we were good. And I think we won a lot of games that were close, and we blew a lot of people out because we were good. And Cam was the MVP, and we had 10 Pro Bowlers. So, like, was it momentum, or were we just good? And then all of a sudden, did we lose the momentum, or did we just play shitty? Like, I look back on the Super Bowl and I'm like, we played shitty. We didn't block Von Miller. I ran the first third down too short. I was a yard short, caught the ball, and we punted. Like, did we lose the momentum? I just think we played like shit. And we lost. So, like, that's my point. Like, I look at that year and I go, if the momentum was so high, why do we lose the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes you really reevaluate.
I do feel
jumping on
for
that
you.
fumble.
I should have ran deeper on the first third down of the game. I ran a backside. I was so worried about edging. I had like a edge backside dig. I was late in the progression. I'll never forget it my rest of my life. That's why I have so many espresso martinis. And I gave like a quick little edge, but I got out fast enough that I could have gotten my depth. But they were playing like quarters and the safeties were real tight. I let them dictate, and it was like 3rd and 9. I ran like a 7, rolled to 8, something like that. Caught it, got hit, short. Nowadays, you probably go for it. We punted, and we fell behind by multiple scores, and we just never got going. So
you didn't edge
was
enough.
that momentum, or did I just run a shitty route?
You didn't edge enough to keep it going.
Got to edge enough. You got to get right to the breaking point. Yeah.
So
anytime I get close to edging, there's no way I can keep the edge.
Same. I always lose the edge every time I'm close to the edge.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I get to the edge and I just jump off the edge.
I always think to myself while I'm on the edge, I'm like, this is where I shut down the edge, and it's always like finish.
Well, now that I know once
here's
I
the
have
edging
the
everybody
momentum,
speaks of, it's gone.
Well, now that I know that once I have the momentum, I don't want to get too far to the edge of momentum because you told me that's cockiness.
Yep.
But then I also have to evaluate in real time where my sweet spot of momentum is because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And then the last piece I've learned today was even though momentum is the number one factor of success, there's no way to hold on to it. At any moment, you have to hand it back.
Well, you got to recalibrate. You can't fucking drink your own Kool-Aid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't think you're already dead. Like there's ways to recapture the momentum, which I would ask you when you lost to the Falcons in week 15, was there a sense in the locker room like, hey, this is, once you beat the brakes off the next team, you're like, hey, this loss is the best thing to happen to us.
Can't just suit up on a Sunday.
Yeah, we're about to go into playoff mode. We remembered that we're the Carolina
Panthers. Maybe that was our momentum recheck.
Well, I was just going to say, if you guys don't lose to the Falcons, you're probably bumped out in your first game, divisional round. Probably out. Because then you don't have a momentum check. You got to have it just like the Patriots did.
We scored 30 in the first half.
Right. But we already talked about the half resets momentum.
So we scored 30 in the first half against Seattle in the divisional round because 2 weeks earlier, we lost in Atlanta.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
starting to get it.
You're starting to come along.
I'm starting to get it.
Right. Because you remember, you go in half and you're like, oh, boys, hey, remember 3 weeks ago? You might not say it out loud, but subconsciously in the back of the brain, that's where it's at.
And then you thought to yourself, we're going to beat the Broncos because Peyton Manning's got like a broken neck and this one will be easy.
He can't throw the ball more than 15 yards, which...
Cocky.
So, well, that's a great point. So what I'm hearing is I need to do a better job connecting two completely irrelevant, separate moments, tying them together. How do we tie them together? Momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like the way you said irrelevant because I felt like you were demeaning the conversation.
You know why he's saying irrelevant factors that are extreme on both ends.
I'm saying
he's telling us
I'm saying
when he was thinking maybe we're
getting to do with each other.
We're getting over our skis right now. Greg, instead of standing up in the team meeting and be like, hey, don't smell your own shit.
Yeah.
We could lose this game if we walk in here with this attitude. He chose to stay seated.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Just marinating in all his momentum, which only turns into cocky.
Yeah. And he's like, no, you know what? We thought we were going to beat the shit out of the Broncos. And we got humbled.
This is eye-opening.
Hey, before we get you out of here, Greg, give me one New Year's resolution.
I got to get back. I'm getting back in shape.
Yeah?
Yeah, you are.
Every year we talk about it.
6 months.
I think 6 years. Every year on Bussin' With The Boys, let's get jacked. But
I'm not going to get jacked.
Sorry.
I hope you guys get jacked. I'd be so proud if you get jacked. Here's how I look at it. For 14 years, I busted my ass. Like I took my training very seriously, what I ate and my training, and I was super diligent and I was never jacked. So I have no like false notions now, unless I got on like the sauce or something.
I was going to say, now you can get on steroids.
Yeah,
I can start doing like peptide shit, which I think is like the craze. I got to like look into it a little bit more.
Get in it, bro.
So if I do come back jacked, I'm here on the record. If one day you see me and you're like, holy shit, Olsen's yoked, I 100% took some sort of assisted substance, peptide. I'm not saying juice, but like, am I microdosing some peptides and some, maybe. I'm not saying
Have you gotten on testosterone yet?
No, I'm on hot dog beers and espresso martinis.
Maybe look into some tea. You're not having any more kids, are you?
That's that's next week's conversation.
Next week's convo, we'll talk about after the new year, what we're doing to get our vibes right. But having said that, like, I just want to get back to like middle baseline 41-year-old dad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine taking my shirt off at the pool. No one's going to be like, wow, that guy's in great shape. But everyone's going to be like, yeah, I can see how he used to play pro ball. Like, he's a big guy.
Yeah. That's what you want.
I'm looking for that. I'm not looking to be a hero.
Yeah. Well, the thing you have going for you already, exquisite jawline. So in a t-shirt, you're already running the game. The goal is not to look like a bodybuilder. The goal is to look in the mirror and not want to throw up and be like, all right, I can understand why she wants to sleep with me. And then, oh yeah, well, you would check this out and be like, this can't be the reason.
It's sure not me, check.
Yeah.
It's not my body. Maybe it's just my personality now, you know?
Well, it's not my humor.
Yeah.
It's not my body. Maybe I'm just a shitty dad.
The goal is to feel good about having sex with the lights on.
Yeah.
Because I'm at a point where I need to be pitch black. I got to close the curtains. I got to close everything else.
Something to be said about the senses, though. You take away a sense and the other ones get stronger.
Yeah.
It's nice.
You can't see shit.
Yeah.
Just, you're all over the map.
Yeah. I'm in the world where I'm having sex with the t-shirt on now.
Yeah.
Right?
Great show.
Great show.
In the last 4 months, this might be my favorite episode we've ever done.
Oh, yeah, by far. It's the end of the year, man. Nothing matters anymore. Nothing matters till
New Year's
Thursday.
resolution. We're getting back in shape. We're not going to be heroes.
Not going to be heroes.
I think we can do it together. We got to hold each other accountable.
Accountability buddies.
I'm leaving this call, putting on my hoodie, my sweats. I'm going on the treadmill, incline walk, sauna. That's my afternoon.
That's a
Greg
great
Olsen,
start.
everybody.
Greg Olsen.
We love it.
Happy New Year's, boys.
Happy New Year,
bro.
brother. Have
See
a
you
good
next
one.
week, man. See you in the
Appreciate
group
you guys.
chat.
Yep.
Will, set the group
Yes,
chat.
I'll set
You
it
have my
up.
number.
I'll set it up right
Set
now.
the group chat. Set the group chat. Dude.
I don't want to tell him. I got to log his name.
All right. Hey. What an episode, huh? Mitch, we still rolling. I saw you press some buttons. We're good?
We're good.
All right. Greg, by the way, that was my favorite episode we've ever done with him. Incredible. Guys, we are going to go and now shoot our best of episode for Bussin' With The Boys that comes out tomorrow, which is Tuesday at 6 a.m. Please check that out.
All the
A lot
boys
of
will be on.
reminiscing. All the boys will be on. We have a cool little setup in the back. We're not going to talk about it. You'll be able to see it on YouTube. But once again, you've stayed this long with us. Please subscribe. Please comment. We really appreciate you. Incredible year it's been. Incredible year. Cannot wait to make 2026 our bitch, and it's all thanks to you guys viewing the show. Big hugs, tiny kisses.